Okay. Hopefully, if I don't wiggle around too much, you can't see what's behind me. Um, it is the early hours of September 4th, 2022. I couldn't get back to sleep. I just had so much excitement. I'm really not sure where it's coming from. I don't know if it's because I had worked out a little bit or if I was woken by spirits. You know what I mean? Like, I swear to Christ, I get other people's energy really, really quickly and, like, sort of, it's like a weird flood over me of these weird emotions that I'm not necessarily feeling. Leticia's usually chill. But, hello. Hi, guys. I can't believe who would want to watch me at this hour? This is ridiculous. Okay, so I gave birth, right, August 30th, to a little boy, 7.5 pounds, 19.5 inches. What a cutie. He was cute. Um, yeah, I've been told I'm an empath. I've also been told that I'm a highly sensitive person. I've also been told that I have some sort of prescience that most people don't have, which means like a foreseeing of the future. I've had some interesting encounters throughout my life, and I don't lie about them, but when I tell people about them, they think that they're fabricated because they're just too outlandish to be true, but they actually are. So, well, good morning. I can't believe I'm really reaching overseas with my story. I'm trying to reach out as far as I possibly can. But of course, it's really difficult when you're continually being silenced. I have my phone, and my phone has 64 gigabytes of data on there, and I have a handful, I would say approximately 15 to 20 apps or less on my phone. And they're all for little mundane things like my banking or any of that stuff, and or YouTube. And a lot of times YouTube all of a sudden shoots up and says that I'm using a shit ton of gigabytes for it. So I delete it, and I excuse me, re-download it in order to have excess space, because I don't know why when I re-download it, then all of a sudden I have extra space. So I do all of these things. I only share my story because I have no one else to talk to. Everyone tells me, why don't you go talk to a therapist? My therapist doesn't even want to hear this shit. I mean, it's the complete truth. They're too busy in their own heads and in their own day. They don't really actually engage. So that's why I just decided that I was just going to talk to everyone and anyone that would fucking listen. And everyone knows that. If you've met me personally, face to face, you understand. I will delve into my story if I can, whenever I can, so I can expose what the fuck has happened to me throughout my life and how nobody's actually stood up for me, and how I'm just having to, mooch off the system to try to survive after I realized that I had nothing and no one. I didn't think this is how it was going to go. But then again, too, I didn't realize that this was this time frame. September 4th, 2022, Leticia Collins serving. So I realized that there were some interesting things that to me continually were excessively coincidental. But they, I guess, are part of the synchronicities that are made for my story in particular. My particular story. So, like I was going to tell you, I was really excited. I don't know where I have this excitement from, where it's coming from. I just lost my baby 5 days ago. That's nothing to be excited about, especially because it's about 3 in the morning at the time that I had him. He was born at 3:24. So I love him very much, I'm not going to lie. But I'm not going to jump through hoops in order to regain custody of him, because if the state feels that it's more suitable he be raised by someone else, or if ever anything alters itself within his story, then that's how it's going to be. I willingly offer him, and I willingly offer myself for a higher purpose. So I'm not fighting in the courts. I don't want to show up on the 7th. I really don't believe I'm going to. I know that at some point in deep in my heart, and this is very, very strong. It's a very strong pull because I'm the mother. I want to go and show up for court just to sign him over to the state, just because they're not allowing me to breastfeed him. And that is offering me the time to detach that I need to. Like, I need to detach so that I'm not so clingy, so that I'm not so obsessed that everyone says. And they're right. There's no one in this world but myself. There's no one in this world but yourself. There's no one in this world but what you perceive is your being. And I'm just trying to share my puzzle piece with the world and see where I fit in. See where my story fits in, where it makes better sense, instead of trying to cram it in areas that it doesn't belong. So most people think that not everyone should be exposed to my story, that it's a very toxic, very dysfunctional, very tumultuously aggressive, tumultuously, I would say more for lack of my, distorted, extremely distorted. Anybody that has lived my life, like, around me, understands, wow, that was not fair. I was raised around you. I've been around you. When you tell me fragments of your story, I had no idea. Look at how chipper you are. Look at how cheerful you are. There's no reason for anyone to have done what they had done to you. And I agree. There's question, why don't you take responsibility for what you did? Pray tell, what exactly do you mean? Which incident? Because I claim all responsibility for what I've done, but I do not claim responsibility for how people engaged with me prior to these things happening. So my reaction is dependent on the way somebody else approaches me. So I would like for you to tell me, ask me, I'm glad that you farted. Because sometimes you just need to fart to feel better. It's so true. Thank you for everyone wanting to show kindness. It really doesn't affect me as much now. Is that what it is? Does his father have him? Is that why he's so excited? Is that why I'm feeling that sensation of joy? Because that would be nice. I punched the top of my stomach while I was in jail because they detained me and I was aggressive. I couldn't help it. It was my body and I was trying to get to my chest. So what are you trying to tell me? I was trying to make the heart palpitations stop for myself. What are you trying to tell me? Okay, let's see here. No, you have not. You blame others for your actions, and you're the one who tried committing suicide while carrying your child. I don't denounce that, because it's a preface of what his life is going to be like. Do you understand that? Does that make sense to you? These people have destroyed his life. These people that didn't offer me and stabilize me financially or shelter me, they're the ones that endangered him, not I. My words could never have caused this amount of destruction in his world. Calamity. He's going to always question why he wasn't able to suckle at my breast. And when people try to tell him that he was in danger, he's not going to see that whatsoever. He is not going to see those minute details where ibuprofen wasn't going to necessarily kill us, but I knew we would pass out and I knew it might cause damage to him. I'm not stupid. I know. Why do you think I chose that over-the-counter prescription in particular? Because if his father didn't want him, right? Why should I be held accountable? Why should I be held accountable after a certain point, especially midway through the pregnancy? There's a certain allotment of time that you can allow for people to be dismissive and just wanting to be in denial of something. People don't allow me that amount of time. They allow me hours, if not a few days, to alter myself and adjust myself. It is not my fault that I was living on the streets. I had nowhere to go. I was sleeping on park benches at that moment. And I felt like committing suicide was the only response I could offer the world that was satisfactory. Because apparently when they told me and promised me that I wouldn't leave that facility without an actual house, they wouldn't let me walk the streets, that was a blatant lie. They allowed me to walk the streets. The only thing I had on me were the clothes on my body and a purse and a bus token with a nickel. That's how they treated this child. That's how they treated the child. So how are you going to tell me that my suicide attempt wasn't, what is the word? It wasn't, I would say necessary? I'm pretty sure necessary is the only word that I could describe the entire situation. There is something wrong with you individuals that you can't offer, first of all, the medication that I need, which is medicinal marijuana. So I'm pretty damn sure that I can place the blame on the system and not myself in this circumstance. And that's why I went to the extreme of trying to kill myself, because I'd been lied to over and over again during the duration of this pregnancy from start to finish. That's why I was just going to sign those papers to relinquish him on the 7th. I didn't want to show up. More than likely, I'm not going to show up. But is his father going to show up for him? Probably not. His father is a cad. His father is irresponsible and dishonorable. So I doubt that he's going to do a better job at raising him, rearing him. And after I had sustained so much trauma, so much damage, so much XP was lost. You know, or HP. But let's go back to where this dumbass thinks that I'm not taking accountability. Of course I fucking did. So, and there's no reason to blame me or blame the mother for having lost everything and to sit there and say she's crazy. No, look at the entire picture. I couldn't even file for rape. And you're going to put that amount of stress on me? Do you realize he would have never been in danger had they filed properly, had they filed the report properly, left me alone to find resources? Instead, everyone had thought, oh, she's got mental illnesses, she's got a warrant out for her arrest, something's wrong here, maybe she's lying to us. That's why I started chronicling. You're not going to fucking lie to people about my actual character. You're not going to defile my character and slander my name. You are not going to tell people I did these things out of malice. They were out of protection. They were out of love. They were out of consideration to the world around me. As well as, you know, myself, I guess. So I have no idea what you're talking about. Can you elaborate? Or are you just that retarded? Yeah, of course I want him to have better than myself, like I just stated. That's why I did and am doing what I'm doing. My baby would have loved this vehicle, especially if it was a good temperature in here all the time for him while he was with me. He would have loved it because he was with me. And that's actually true. This person says, in my very humble opinion, Leticia cannot take real accountability until her mental health is properly treated and stabilized. So I cannot be held accountable for a majority of my actions, but that doesn't negate the fact that they aren't true. So if you are not filing, if you're not actually protecting me as my disabled dumbassness, then there's something very wrong. That is actually very true. People actually push me into believing some nonsense, and in actuality, you can't. It's a catch-22 in all of these circumstances. So even the fact that I put him in danger, I didn't place him in danger. You did, because you didn't file properly. You upset me. You aggravated me. You left me with nothing. You left me for dead. You left me for dead. Some dude smoked fucking crack in front of me. Ice, whatever that is. What is that? Meth. It's meth. You people are crazy. You allowed this to happen. You allowed me to walk free on the streets, and I recorded that shit. The dude picking me up, and he smoked fucking ice in front of me, in front of my fucking heavily 8-9 month pregnant ass, and you just allowed it. Instead of actually having somewhere safe for me to go and stay, I went to these different mother shelters and stuff. What? I can't be held accountable for any of that. What's wrong with you? And then to think that I'm a bad mother because of my mental stability? No. I was on top of it constantly. I was on it like a fucking hawk. I was on it like flies on shit. I was constantly on my child. So even right now, like, I'm completely fucking pissed that nobody saw it from my perspective immediately. Instead, they needed to do their investigation. And I'm like, fine. I'm done. I'm not going to argue. Take your shit and go. Take that and go. It's since you claim it as yours. Exactly. Why didn't they help me get a place? They knew even a week prior to me being there. You know why? Because of the authorities. Because what they had done from the very beginning when I filed for rape, because there was an investigation going on with me prior to that, because they wanted to see how truly stable I was. And if I was truly stable, then how is it that I was still getting a disability? I already told everyone years prior. I told everyone. I was like, I already know that they're onto me. And it's like, onto me for what? You know? Like, let's see some silliness go on, because we can both go back and forth. You're not helping me. I'm not helping you. Obviously. I can't. That's why I don't get a job. Fuck you. That's why. I wouldn't be able to hold a job. Right now, my mental state, no, my mental fortitude, I wouldn't be able to deal with fucking customer bullshit. These fucking, what are they? Pawns on the lower level. That's the only thing I think of. It's like, you can't get through to these people. They don't have they have no brain. Oh my God. Let's see. I don't know. I do like to say, if you have nothing nice to say, please go away. She's in the throes of mental illness. Exactly, and that's why I started spiraling down from postpartum depression. I think the only thing truly that's upsetting me right now are my engorged breasts. That's what's truly upsetting me. I think it would be, and it's always a learning tool, because I go through so much stress, so much pain, that I just start ignoring that amount, because my tolerance level starts to gradually build, and all of a sudden I just have so much tolerance for things that no one would ever truly be able to tolerate, especially in everything sort of meshed together, when everything is sort of jumbled together, or what's the word, I'm slowly getting it back. It'll come back to me. It's all coming back to me now. Man, I sit around and do some stupid shit, though. And by stupid shit, mostly just singing to myself and dancing. I don't see what the problem is with me trying to regain my stability and mental health, and then when I got impregnated, why that happened. I don't understand it. And then the fact that I was trying to get a place, but I didn't know what to do. I was completely lost. My hormones had gotten to me too. I was gone. And now I feel much better. I don't have all that anxiety. It feels like I understand now why I had so much anxiety and why the word home kept popping up over and over again in my head. The fathers go out, wait, well, that goes a lot for the so-called fathers out there, and we still keep going and take care of our kids. Now, there are guys that are great family men and keep coming back to their families and want to take care of those families. I'm not talking about you. I'm not discussing you. So, some people get offended too easily. And I'm like, no, you see, it's not everyone. It's only the people that I'm talking about that are in denial of these things, that they do these things, that they've seen these things, that they know somebody who's done these things, and they just don't own up to it. That's why I'm a voice to just say, fuck it, if you want to put me away. Ooh, technically I'm disabled. And I started realizing that. I started realizing all these technicalities, and that was just things whispering to me, telling me, hey, guess what? They can't do that. Hey, guess what? That's illegal. Hey, guess what? And you can't stop them. They're not voices. I'm not schizophrenic. It's more like a feeling, and sometimes they do say things to me. I can't tell. It's not schizophrenia. There's some people that talk to things that aren't there. And I had to be honest after so many years. Sometimes things give me advice that are good and helpful, and then there are times where there are some very negative things around, and they don't speak with words. They don't speak with, generally, they don't. And that freaks me out when they do. That really does. Because when I get certain pulls of certain words or something is telling me, and I say someone is telling me because I have no idea, and it's horrifying to me even. I tried to denounce a lot of that because I was like, there's no way. You can't be one of those freaks, you know? But yeah, and it's not schizophrenia. People say it's schizophrenia, but really when you have some type of weird connection, like I said, I think I might be a conduit because I attract things, souls, energy, even living energy, that I can't understand. What are you talking about? Your own messages and videos state I filed rape because how else was I supposed to get a hold of him? I never said that. Ever. Not at all. I said I filed because he wouldn't acknowledge the child. I didn't say anything about getting a hold of him. No, that's people summing it up in their stupid mindset. That's where you're wrong. That's why I started videoing, because I'm like, no, you're only gonna hold me accountable for the shit that I fucking tell you, bitch. And if you're not getting it, if you're not comprehending it, maybe we should have it on video constantly. Oh my God, this is the same crap, different day. I thought for a minute she was going to think right. Think right about what? What are you talking about? That's fucking crazy. You are crazy. Some of these people are so sick, they need so much more mental help than I do. I know, I've been through a shit ton in my fucking life, and you're gonna sit there and berate me? I think not. A bunch of idiots. But people think that I get riled up. Really, I don't. Sometimes this verbal aggression is actually beneficial for me because I'm sort of masochistic in that way. I have to get out my anger in some form or another, and that's why I started punching the punching bag, and I've got a bruise on my hand here. It started swelling up really badly. I don't normally punch. I try to refrain from the violence because I know I could hurt somebody. So when I was punching, I finally got to the point where I had hit in an area that you know what I mean? Like, I haven't strengthened my hands. I would love to take on kickboxing or something because I need to get out my energy sometimes. And it would be really beneficial with self-defense. I should have known a lot of these techniques, but I was never taught and formally taught. So when I start punching, yes, I could take someone down, but not in the way that, say, a professional could. And I would like to get taught, get trained by a professional. That way I don't harm anybody either, if I don't need to. Some dumbass over here. Sorry, I've had multiple mental illnesses for over 15 years, and I have not once done anything to my children. She has. Excuses once again. Yeah, once again. Okay, you stupid. People are so dumb. It's not an excuse. You have a different mental disorder. Your combination of disorders are completely different than mine. Mine are to the point where it's like, Leticia, prove your fucking point, bitch. And don't just do it with words because nobody's accepting your words. Let's show them a little something because they're not listening to you. So maybe in your case you were listened to. Maybe in your case you were financed. Maybe in your case you had emotional support. Maybe in your case you had all of this other backing. Get over yourself. People are so dumb. In everybody's story, it's completely different. We're all individuals. Pump and freeze my milk? With what fucking freezer, bitch? And I live in a car. Are you retarded? People are so stupid. And they think that it really heightens my blood pressure by saying these things. No, it's like water off my back. I have to relay this to you and just to get it off me. The negativity of your stupid comments. I don't know why this person thinks that they're trying to brag about something. I don't know. This person is so crazy. Stop abusing children. This insane person. Okay. I was raped from birth to 13, and then a divorce marriage or something. Oh, domestic violent marriage for 20 years. But I got help and on the right medication. My babies are grown, and we are amazing. First of all, they're probably not amazing. If you're this crazy and you're harassing someone like me, a complete stranger, and placing your opinion on me, then you're not doing well. You need a different type of medication. You are obviously unstable. And if you were being raped from birth, okay, first of all, and then you went on to have a 20-year violent marriage, you weren't okay. So you faked you were okay. You didn't understand that you weren't okay. You thought pharmaceuticals were helping you. They weren't, bitch. They were covering up the fact that you were in denial and didn't own up, didn't hold yourself accountable for what you had done. So when are you going to take responsibility? Now that I know a fragment of your life, when are you going to hold yourself accountable for the actions and responses that you've... Amazing children, anybody that claims something like that is delusional. You have to see things from every perspective. Yes, my children say they're average. I'm not going to place these standards on them to be amazing, or, it causes mental distortions within children because then they're always competing with one another. I have to be fantastic. I have to be amazing and wonderful. And not to say that I wouldn't do that to my kid, but in moderation. So, and you apparently know all. So, I guess we need to watch your Stop Abusing Children videos. And then she goes on, oh my God, it was perfect timing. You think you know everything, don't you? So weird how I know these things before I even engage with it. How I knew how to respond to you in your exact words and how you're going to eat that shit. I hope I get some help too, because it's not fair that what they'd done, and I didn't think that I was going to have to live without my children for this long, but everyone has their fucking reasoning behind what they do. They want to see and test me to make sure certain stabilities are there, and why am I so still classified as disabled if I'm stable? Which, everything, like I said, is a contradiction. It's all within itself. It's everything. It just is. So... As stable as I would like to convey myself to be, I'm still disabled due to my PTSD. I still have panic attacks that you can't denounce. So I still have detachments under extreme amounts of stress. That still is going to make me disabled for the rest or the remainder of my life. So Yeah, schizophrenic people, when they don't take their meds and everything, I'm not schizophrenic. They've given me antipsychotics and I break out in hives physically. I'm not psychotic. They know that for a fact. They know that it's something else when people talk to spirits or whatever, energy or animals, you know. And I tell people, it's not that I'm talking with words. Like, I'm not making this shit up. These are things. And then they look into it. They're like, holy shit, she's fucking on point. That's what irritates people, because I'm like, I'm not just making this shit up. What are you talking about? I see dead people. I don't really see them all the time. Sometimes, though, I wonder. There's some things out of my peripheral, and I wonder what the fuck that is, that glitch in the Matrix. Who cares? That isn't even abuse. The fucking freezing of the puppies was an abuse. Why do people go on about stupid shit? Really, honestly. They were fucking pit bull puppies. The fucking people didn't want them. Like, I call around. They've got proof of that. They've got all that shit on documents. All of the times I called out to different people, it's all listed on all of my shit. I told them, I was like, there's tracking and tracing for everything. Ask my fucking phone company, AT&T, about all of the lists of fucking calls I made. You'll find them. I'm not making it up. I reached out before I acted out. Why am I self-harming? Is there some kind of self-deprecation going on that I don't know about? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not. So I'm going to tell you about what I did yesterday. And the reasoning behind me wanting to video right now is that I couldn't go to sleep. So I'm never going to take birth control. This is not my fucking... That is nothing... No, I'm not going to put those types of hormones in my body to make myself unstable, destabilize myself. What are my plans for the future? And do you have birth control? Fuck, I'm not trying to be fucking nobody. Never was I. That's why I wasn't on it prior. That's why I thought it was some type of miracle and he loved me. You know, we would be together in the end, and that he wasn't a liar. But that was completely the opposite of what happened. So like I was trying to tell people, I don't think his father's going to show up for him on court on the 7th either. And I feel sorry for the baby. I really do. I would have loved to love him. I would have loved to take care of him. But I also didn't really want to be trapped with some dude that didn't like me but got away with rape. So I didn't know what to do. I left it in God's hands. And that's why everybody was watching and following, and that's why the baby was taken from me in that manner, so that I would have a detachment toward it, so that I wouldn't try to run after it, because maybe he's not right for me. Maybe the baby was better off without me, and that's okay. I'm accepting of that. That's why I was going to try to go sign him over, but I thought, whatever. I don't know if I want to deal with that. I don't know if I want to deal with people yet. I might or might not show up. If they try to place a fucking warrant on me, they can shove that up their ass. And if I have to sit it out in jail with some bullshit, they're going to pay for it. Either way, they're going to have to pay for it. And that's disgusting, that they would rather put me in restraints than to help me prior to that happening. Because like I said, people need help prior to having all of these records and documentation. So I was punching the punching bag. I did some yoga. I did a lot of dancing. I was really proud of myself. Sometimes I really wish that I could show you the type of dancing that I do when I'm all alone, because it is very lovely and people really enjoy it. And I do it sort of interpretive dancing. Just I interpret the music how I want to, and I dance and get out my emotions. So, but yeah, I'm actually doing really well. I took a shower. Well, I rinsed off after I did that, and then I had to eat something. I had to force myself to eat. That is the one thing I know. I am going through depression still, obviously. My milk will have to dry up so that I just forget about the entire occurrence and move forward in my life, because his father didn't want him. that it placed a complete mark all over this child. I was telling you about the reason why I was anxious the whole pregnancy and searching for a home. And the word home popped into my head when I found out he was there. It's because this child is always going to be confused about where his true home is. And that's why I was having such heightened anxiety during the pregnancy, especially at the end. Even though I was calm, when it was just me, like I was trying to force that energy out of me, but that was the poor baby's energy screaming for a home, because he's never going to have that, because he was removed from me. I already knew. That's why I braced myself. That's why I'm not still in tears, because they messed up his life. He's always going to be searching for a home now. And that's so sad. I feel so terrible. Like, why didn't they want to stop that from happening? I warned you people. I tried to give you that. And you just ruined his life. I didn't ruin his life. You said that I was incapable of taking care of him when there were cameras that proved otherwise. There's video footage. Just because I didn't put my daughter and I on video constantly wouldn't have meant that I couldn't have done the same for my new baby, my new Tootsie. And to been able to share with everyone, well, this is how you properly maintain you're going through depression, you're going through mental instabilities, this is how you still can care for your baby and not have anything bad happen to either one of you, you know? But that's okay. If that's how they felt, is that I was too unstable still, that's fine. They've destabilized him even more by formula feeding him. That is going to mess with him a lot, because if ever I were to have another child and that child is breastfed and he knows that, well, my sister was breastfed, I wasn't, and then this new baby, maybe it's a new boy, say, he got breastfed, I didn't get that. Also, I've been placed in the system and I didn't have a father. No one came back for me. And so he's going to end up with a lot of mental illnesses because of my mental instabilities. Everything is hereditary. And that's why, they need to look into these things, placing these things into considering them prior to it happening. So that's why I was so anxious during the pregnancy. Now I'm fine. I don't have that anxiety, that copious amount, that fear where it's like vibrating through my system. That constant fear. I had some time to rest right now. I had some time to shower, no more so than usual. But he was so sad because he knew it was coming too, I guess. I guess people's energy really does affect me. I guess I really did have a lot of those feelings when he was inside of me that I thought, when people were watching me, when they were scrutinizing me, and he would try to hide. But he couldn't. And now he's always going to be searching for a home. And I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. I couldn't help you. My words couldn't save you. My actions couldn't save you. And they just wanted to rip you away from the tit. And that completely shut me down. I couldn't take care of or manage you after that, because they deemed it so. The state deemed it so. The Republic. The United States of America, I mean. So, anyway, that's why I had those feelings. And so today I got out some of my aggression and I bruised my hand. I bet people probably thought, well, is she going to blame us for that too? No, I don't blame anybody else but myself, because I got too aggravated and I punched it in the wrong spot. So, it's not my prerogative to sit there and go around and blame everyone else for anything that I had done to myself. But let's get it right here. I didn't impregnate myself. Let's get that straight. I didn't leave myself with no home while pregnant. I didn't do that. I wasn't seeking it. So what is going on? The people didn't rationalize that prior to robbing this baby from a decent home, a decent loving parent. And I would have done a decent job, but I didn't want to be stuck for 18 years either. Who wants that? Especially for a man that is dishonorable. There's a huge difference. If you've got an honorable man's child, then you walk around all day with your head up high. Do what you fucking want. But if you're going around and you're, scum of the earth is the father of my child, they're going to know too. The children are going to know. Progressively, they're going to learn their story. Then they realize they have to have shame and an embarrassment because of their parents. And people harbor resentments for that, toward that. I don't know what to tell you. And no one listens to me. Instead, I go off on my tangents. They don't pick up on what I'm saying. They don't, engage properly. And then I'm out. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. These are why I did these things. If these other people would have been held accountable themselves, and they're in a profession to where they should be held accountable, well, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. They're getting paid the big bucks, not I. I get paid disability, which is scarcely enough to get by. So, I don't know what to say. I think a lot of times people, they expect too much of me. I'm like, what do you want? I've already been through enough. What do you want? That's why when people knock, they ring, they try to message me. What do you want? It's enough is enough. What do you need from me? Because at this point, I'm trying to bend over backward, but I barely have the clothing on my back anymore. And I wanted to go drop off those belongings that I purchased for him. But I don't know if I could manage to make it back up there September 7th. I mean, the fact that he's not breastfeeding, the fact that he was ripped away for so long, and I don't know if I would be able to produce milk if I got him back at this point, that's sad. And then they would try to say, well, you neglected him again by not showing up the next day. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I am in denial of your stupidity. You literally detached him from my fucking tit, and you're going to tell me I have to jump through some goddamn hoops? Didn't think so. And so I'm the voice of reason. And it's like, where did you come from, bitch? Yeah, I've got a point. I've got many points, and they are fucking on point. Completely accurate. And everything can be tracked through fucking research, psychology, scientific facts. And yet nobody wanted to listen. They didn't want to offer a home to this baby. They wanted to steal it and rob it from its home, and that's why I had copious amounts of anxiety running from everyone. He's going to do the same in his life. That's how the energy works. Unless it is fixed, then you can't, it's never going to, yeah, that's not going to turn out well. I feel sorry for him, and I feel sorry for the bloodline and everything. I'm like, I'm sorry, kiddo. Your life is fucked. You're a foster baby. Don't know what to say. I already knew it was coming. Why do you think that I was saying all these things? Why do you think that I knew everybody was trying to get me in trouble? Look, she admitted to this. Look, she admitted to this. And? What? What of it? You gonna hold me accountable? Oh, I can tell you the reasons why you can't hold me accountable. As my own attorney, as my own lawyer here. And tell you, hey, I had asked for help prior. Even when I was taking the shrooms, when I took the shrooms, I asked the father. I didn't know if it existed. I wanted a response from the individual. I thought, you know what I need is the partner to this baby, the father. Or maybe that was the baby reaching out. Maybe it was him reaching out through me. Because normally, I say fuck them. Fuck dudes. If they ghost you, don't try to sit there and beg them. Don't. I don't do that shit. I sure as fuck don't. I do not sit there going around, and they've got proof of that through every other encounter, to where no. It's not. No thanks. I know my worth, and it's not that. It's not $50 and an Airbnb stay for a couple days. So that's why I ended up. I said, this child is going to end up all fucked up, because he's going to know all this shit. And he's going to be worse off from foster care, worse off because his parents weren't forced to be held accountable for him. And I was like, man, I was making an attempt. I was trying to like the dad. I was trying my hardest. But you can't like someone that disappeared for 9 months You can't like somebody that is in denial of their own actions, that is in denial of their manipulation toward everyone around them. You can't help someone like that. That's true. Whatever. He's probably schizophrenic. He probably is. And my poor child, I even told him, I said, what type of shit was in your, what kind of shots have you had? I don't know shit about you. Are you sick in any way? Nothing. He has no response. He's pleading the fifth, right? He wants to talk to his attorney. That's why I'm my own attorney. Leticia, attorney at law. Actually, I would make a terrible attorney because I incriminate myself and I incriminate everyone around me, which is kind of sad because I told you. I told you so. I am not doing well. I needed your help. I reached out. I made attempts. No one listened. Okay, you're going to hold me accountable toward my reaction, my reactive abuse? No. You have to hold those people accountable first then, because that's not fair. So yeah, Leticia's back. She's finally done being sad and working through those emotions. Because I know when people say no, it means no. And I'm like, okay, fine. Then I won't fight you. And my family has known this about me. I am actually very, and I wouldn't really say submissive as much as I would say just sort of, and I guess I would say a little bit of complacency. I wouldn't deny that. But I do not want to argue because I want to be considerate of those around me, even the people that are being aggressive, because I understand that they're suffering worse than I am mentally. Because if they're getting to the point to where they want to steal or rob from me or to take, from my reality in any way, or even be verbally aggressive, like to call me names, I understand they need that moment to reflect their feelings. They need that moment to reflect to others, hey, to disclose, to share with them, hey, I'm not doing well either. That's why my aggression is showing. I don't know why I'm being so violent toward you. I think it's just because you're the nearest person and you're the only one that'll listen. And I'm like, yeah. Generally, I have plenty of time to sit there and I'm going to listen. I'm going to help you. What can I do? Can I at least do you want to talk about it? Most people don't want to talk about some things. But then a lot of times people open up to me and I had no idea it was coming. I was like, whoa. And I have to take a moment and be respectful of their time, their story, their life force, to tell them, hey, I'm here. I at least care. I at least listen. Guess what? I've lived through a lot. But you can always just balance yourself out if you have some purpose, some higher sort of need to want to keep going. So my purpose is always to try to be better every day, to be better and to treat people with respect and dignity where I've not been treated in such a way. And even the people that are going around asking for too much, they don't know they're asking for too much. They're sick. They've got a mental illness. So I put that on demons, and I relay that to the 7 deadly sins. What sin are they going through that is the biggest sin? So a lot of times I see lustful individuals and I call it out and I try to say, I'm sorry, you need to work on that. And I go around, instead of praying at people, I tell them straight to their face how they like to communicate and whether or not they can verbalize things, like, say, swearing. I get on their level and I'll talk to them. And I'll say, how do you communicate? How are you going to best to understand the information that's coming out of my mouth? Because a majority of the time people want to refrain from engaging with me because they realize I'll shock them into a state of awareness that they had no idea existed. And I'm like, wait a second, here are my proofs for it. Here's the research, here's the facts. This is why I said this. So let me just go through here. Let me see here. And people think that I'm manic or whatever and I was trying to hurt him. I wasn't trying to hurt my baby. Not at all. You got that completely wrong. Leticia did not try to harm her baby. Whatever demons that left me on the street that day did leave me with the capability of going off to harm myself, and I was at a very low point and I had sought help. But what did I do? I got forced to have to fucking sleep on a park bench. And it wasn't even a park bench. It was, I snuck into somebody's backyard of the gazebo of a business and fell asleep in their gazebo. And do you not understand the fear of not being able to sleep as a pregnant woman and scared and like wondering if she's going to get raped again, wondering if she has to talk her way out of another circumstance? So something worse, everything gets worse and worse and worse progressively. So that's why I keep trying to go back to some of the things, my safety nets, which are like my vehicle. And then they try to take that by, you know, breaking the window. Let's get real here. It wouldn't have been broken had the officers not left it where it was located. And it wouldn't have gotten busted had they not picked me up to force me into giving birth. And then what? What type of karma is that for yourselves? So people act like I'm just going to act all violent and crazy. Like, no, I know people are crazy. That's why I offer them the benefit of the doubt. That's why, you know, majority of this too, I don't try to get one over on anybody. Let's see. People are so, okay, they're so stuck on the past. I don't know what's going on with you. Are you okay? Someone says, this person, trust in you. Okay, first of all, I would never trust you because your mind is distorted. You've got some type of mental illness going on here. You stated you were going to kill your child. Did that happen? Did that come to fruition? No. You need to let it go. It's in the past. Words are words. They can't hurt you if they didn't actually come to fruition. All right? So, like when my dad would tell me, I'm going to fucking kill you. Do I think he's going to kill me now? Fuck no, I don't. I don't have that inkling of a notion whatsoever, aside from that he doesn't want me talking about what had happened in the home, because then he would end up in prison. So, I'm sorry, but I can't denounce the truth, and that's why my father's afraid of me. That's why most men are afraid of me, because I know the truth. Let's see here. Stop abusing children. You're a fake account. Okay, nobody needs to listen to you. Nobody argue with that fool. Nobody argue with these fools that are fake accounts that have no subscribers, that they just started their account just to try to fuck with me. This person. I think people are just pissed at this point. She has tried to ruin 9 lives accusing rape. What? 9 lives? Where did you... I don't see any fucking paperwork for that. I've told people what has happened. I didn't accuse anybody. These things are factual. So, and the baby. I think people are just mad. At who? They shouldn't be mad at me. Because I sure as fuck didn't make up any of that shit. And if I told people about certain sexual abuses, that happened. It's on film. There's record. They know. And I don't make up shit because I don't want to do anything that's like, I would never want to ruin someone's life. I am completely honest about that. Never. And so I keep my mouth shut. Keep it shut, keep it shut, keep it shut. And then it's like, oh, it's too overwhelming. It's overbearing. I can't do it. I have to shit this out. So, yeah. I have to cleanse my system, you know. I don't stay put long enough for anyone to place me in a home. Not anymore, because I learned 2 years ago, and that's one thing that my doctor did recommend of me getting away from the toxicity. I was fine on my own. I was living in my car. What was the problem? I was staying at different places where I met people that were nice and they became my friends. And I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't seeking a home. That's why I was telling everyone, like when I was seeking a home for my child, that wasn't me. That was the baby. That was the baby talking. So, and I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for him because I would love to love him, but in an appropriate home. somewhere where he would be safe, somewhere where I could tend to him and try to make him better, because I knew he wouldn't have a father that was stable. So there would be a lot of work on my end to try to fix that and to compensate for the lack in what the father had done. I did choose to be sort of like misplaced. And it's not like I chose to be homeless. I chose to just not deal with the system because I didn't want to take from anyone else either. So what are you trying to say? My big heart is a problem for the world? Apparently it is, because that's why I keep getting harassed. So why would you want that alleged father if he raped me? Because he's the father. Because you can try to make amends for some shit because he did it gently. I mean, there's still no really like forgiving that. Who does that? You don't touch a girl when she's sleeping. You don't do that. But I tried. So it's not like that I was trying to like be with him particularly. It's just because of the DNA. It was just because that was the father, and I was trying to make it in my mind to where give him some benefit of the fucking doubt. But then 9 months went by and I was like, man, he's fucking crazy. I hope I don't go to prison, because I sure as fuck didn't do anything wrong. I was overly honest. What's the problem in that? You're being held accountable. You begging now. You putting all this BS talk, and thank God that child got taken away from you. We'll be better off. This asshole. You're so silly. I'm not begging anybody for anything. Not at all. Just to stay away from me, maybe. Is that the incarceration time? If I am incarcerated and they refuse to offer me my medicine, then I'm going to freak out. Then I'm probably going to try in any way possible to sue the fucking state, because that's not okay. You are keeping me from the thing that is stabilizing me most after having all this trauma and having ripped away my child, and my fucking breasts are still hard as rocks. Nobody's going to like that you put me in jail. I speak out and tell the world about this, they're going to be fucking horrified. Worse than the people are that apparently are subscribing to me, because they're like, man, if I lived through that, oh my God, I would sue. Yeah, I know. Believe me. That's why I'm trying to get my fucking shit together, just so I can get the fuck away from everybody. Let's see here. Trying to see. I didn't take any shrooms yet. Why does everyone say that? But I was waiting still until like after the 7th to see if they would reach out to me to see if I would be able to go and feed him. But nobody's doing that. They're not civil individuals. So I'm going to end up realizing that the milk is not for him anymore. And then I'm going to take the shrooms, because I was waiting and I didn't want to contaminate the milk. So that's why I was like, okay, fine, fuck it. Then they can send out their warrant, and then by that day, and I know that nobody wants me to be with him and that I can't breastfeed him anymore, just take the shrooms and party hardy before being forced and detained like they always like to do. It's not right at all. And jail is especially not right for someone like me. It's very damning on me. Like it's very toxic to my psyche. It makes me worse psychologically. If I wasn't disabled enough now, all these times and stays in jail, yeah, I'm fucked up in the head now. Also too, it says she refused help. You can't have a $500 a month car payment and expect a free house. It don't work don't work that way. Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. You should be giving me more to be able to afford a house and have a vehicle. And I tried to lower my payment, and the fact that it's $500 with insurance isn't that bad. So I chose the car so I could have my freedom to get around, as opposed to being, you know, stuck in one spot and be forced to have to make a house payment and be forced to live in a town that fucking sucked. So no thanks. She goes around, most people in our generation have HPV and they don't even know it. Men can't be tested for it. So the fact that a man is stating this is actually pretty hilarious. It's Jim says, she goes around giving men HPV knowing she has it. I didn't give it to him. He took it from me. So I'm telling you now, generally I disclose that with the majority of the people I do it with prior to engaging with them, and that's why even like my ex-husband could verify that. So and a lot of the people that I've engaged with sexually, I'll tell them. And also HPV, like I said, can't be tested in men, and they go around giving it to women, and that actually causes cervical cancer. So you can't tell me that that's some type of nonsense. The fact that men can't be tested for it and it affects women, and now the children are being vaccinated by it. So if only I would have been raised in that generation, I would have never got it. Interesting. Your proofs are hearsay. Nope, they're not. My proofs are documented. That's why this investigation has gotten out of hand, and the fact that they've taken from me and stolen from me another thing, that's going to be on them. I finally have calmed down. I finally have realized they're going to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And I'm just going to sit back and laugh when it all blows up in their face like I told them and I warned them about. I know. I thought about killing myself, but honestly, I don't have that feeling anymore. Like, I feel fine. I feel fine, like, as long as you leave me alone and keep me out of the court system, I'll be fine. Which means that I'll probably have to show up on the 7th just to sign him over and then just run away. And then it's not running away, it's just like, you forced me to leave. So, there you go. There's your prize. I went 9 months creating that prize, and now it's owned by someone else. Oh my God, this person making up shit. She won't fight for her baby because she doesn't want to be tested for drugs in her system, which CPS would routinely do. What drugs? I take nothing but marijuana. That's not a drug, and I have a medicinal marijuana card that's active in the state that I technically live in. You're so stupid, because technically the registration for this vehicle is in Arkansas, which means that links me back there, and I'm a citizen of Arkansas still. And why do you think they kept trying to push me back there? Oh, you guys are so silly. You guys are so silly. Technicalities. You can't get one over on me anymore. I try to do my research so everything's backed the fuck up, because I can't trust people. I cannot trust even the authorities to tell me the truth respectfully to my face. Instead, they're disrespectful, and they think that I'm not going to see right through their fucking tactics, which is hilarious. That's why I just go for it. I give in. If that's what you feel. My tits hurt. Drinking old motor oil. What would that do? Would that kill me? Interesting. She smoked weed daily while pregnant. That's a charge she got the night she was arrested when she had the baby. They actually dismissed that charge. The only charge that they can place on me, since I had a medicinal marijuana card at the time, and like I said, technicalities, the fact of it is that they can't get me on hurting the child, when in actuality that's my medicine that stabilizes me. So it wasn't any an issue. It wasn't even an issue, but the fact that they tried to place it on me, that's why I giggled that evening. I was like, that's never gonna stick. So the only thing they can do is to say that I was resisting arrest. But like I shared with you, I wasn't resisting the arrest. I shared with you the videos of the way that I responded. That isn't resisting arrest. I told them, I informed them that they were misinformed, and instead they harassed me and stole my child because they just didn't want to take another day of my bullshit. And that's why they came and broke my window, to try to show me and prove to me a point that they run this shit. No, you don't. Maybe you're running it straight into the ground or each other's assholes, but you're not running me into anybody's asshole. You're not running anybody. No, Leticia, bitch, one day I'll own you. And that's what the funny thing is like, I told everyone, I told you, this story is going to get out there. My story is going to be conveyed, and I'm going to tell people the truth about how you mishandled everything. And that's why I disclose people by name, because I want it to go exactly how it was, exactly how I perceived it, exactly how the cameras perceived it, exactly how the audio perceived it. So maybe if you didn't tell everyone you're smarter than them, you'd have family or friends. Exactly why I don't want any family or friends. Because they're not capable of understanding me. So why would I want people that are fucking ignorant around me, as opposed to just my solitude? I'd rather be by myself and talk and argue with random strangers online, which I'm, now that I gave birth, completely different person, right? Like, I'm so chill. Like, I am not even trying to argue. And I think it had a lot to do with the baby's, the chemical changes due to the child. I think it had a lot to do with what his feelings were too, how scared he was, and how nervous he was to be born into such a toxic world. Because knowing knowing what I was living through physically and emotionally. So yeah, that baby's emotional stability was the main thing that was on my nobody else thought of it, though. It was the main thing on my mind about wanting to make sure he was tended to well because of my psychological imbalances. And I didn't know what type his father had, because his father was in denial of his existence. So I knew that he was obviously unstable in some way or another. Plus he had to have been unstable due to the fact that he forced himself onto me. So that is an issue. Let's see. The baby is only going to have health issues due to, he's really not going to have a lot of health issues. Not as many as, he might have a little bit of heart issues now that the ibuprofen was taken. But again, you can blame the state for that, not me. They're the ones, the state of Arkansas, that allowed me to walk freely on the street at that amount of pregnancy. And I told them that I needed help with a house and shelter, and they refused. They refused to put the effort into calling the places to find me stable places. So that's not me. If there's anything wrong with that child, you can thank the states and the doctors. You can blame them. Let's see here. Forget the mouth. Keep your legs shut next time. I don't actually spread my legs that often, so I anticipate that. What is this? This guy, trust in you. Sexual abuse, question mark. Oh, you mean where you thought about another child? What are you talking about? Are you okay? Are you people okay? The dog eating you out. Shit happens. Why would I not confess to everything in my life? What's the problem? People are so, they're like, cringe. Fuck you. You've done some crazy and you don't want to disclose it. That's crazy. The fact that you don't own up to what you've done, the fact that you're still humiliated and ashamed. Don't be humiliated and ashamed. It's completely normal for some of this shit to happen. And if you don't accept it, then you don't move forward from it. And if you have like a chip on your shoulder, if that stuff irritates you, then you have some type of issue with dealing with it. It's not everybody else. And that's why people are like, oh, I'm so offended, I should sue for you for that. No, you should learn how to be less offended. You should learn how to accept people's dark humor as well. So it's none of, if they're not physically harming you, then get over it. That's what I try to tell people. I was violated. That's why I filed for rape. That's the only difference. What is this bitch saying? You are taking through SSDI though. Taking what? They offered it to me years ago. I continually get the check. I don't even look into it. I'm going to be completely honest. When they send me a bunch of those shit to fill out, I forget half the time. They don't even, I'm not all here. I am not all here. I'm not trying to play any games. I just don't want to play your games anymore. I don't want to play your paperwork bullshit. I don't want to play with any kind of nonsense you're saying about, like, I don't know, crazy. You're all just talking crazy. It says right here, okay, this idiot says, you have to make the calls yourself, though. If you're pregnant, low-income housing bumps you to the blah, 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 blah. No, see, the first half of the pregnancy, that's where I'm talking about. There was a certain duration of time that I was lasting. My psychological health was only good for so long, and I was placing in so much effort finding suitable housing, like placing applications at different locations, all of it. And yeah. And they just refused. And also, I never heard back from HUD itself from the different areas that I had signed up for it at. So, okay, here's this person again talking bullshit. Nobody listened to stop abusing children, because all they are is abusing children. Because that's one of their fake accounts that has been harassing me during the time the baby was in me, harassing me while the baby was in me, so they actually are child abusers. Catch 22, bitch. We all know. So anybody that was sitting there talking smack to me during the pregnancy, you abused children, because you knew I was very, very frail emotionally, and you helped cause that suicide attempt. So let's get that straight. You helped hurt that baby. He wouldn't have been allowed to contact you after posting a rape. He contacted me enough to tell me not to contact him. He contacted me enough to be rude, to tell me that he was going to get a harassing communications on me. He wanted to make sure to rub it in. He wanted to make sure I knew I was going to have that baby in prison. And he was slightly right, wasn't he? My water broke in jail. You guys talk way too much about nonsense. I probably wouldn't lose the money on YouTube. Let's get real. How do you lose money that doesn't exist? How do you lose disability when that shit, if it's taken from me, what's the problem? I'll find some other resource. I'll find some other means to get by. I really don't understand why people are so cross with me because they can't handle the truth. Why? Why are you so defiant about the situation to not understand I'm clearly not in the wrong? I'm clearly innocent in all things that I'm being accused of, all allegations, and I have been innocent for many years, preaching, seeking, all these things, and no one listened. Yeah, if I sue the government that I get the money from, then I'd end up with the big ass check, and then I don't have to have disability anymore. Makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense to me. Then I would stop being a mooch, because in actuality, those people that have wronged me in my story, the truth about the matter, should be paying my fucking bills. because they made me crazy as fuck. Yeah, I said, well, you better go to court if you don't want to end up in prison. I know, I understand that, so I have to weigh out the pros and cons. I have to weigh out the fact that more than likely I have to show up on the fucking 7th just to sign that little turd over to the state. And I say turd. I pooped him out. I told her, I was like, I feel like I have to poop. I feel I have to poop. And that was the biggest turd I've ever had. Well, yeah, technically it is. You've still been smoking weed, though. What's the problem with that? What are you talking about? Are you guys okay? You keep repeating the same stupidity. What is wrong with smoking weed when it's my fucking medications? What? And some people, I doubt she would have wanted the HPV vaccine. I'm pretty sure I wanted to avoid cervical cancer. Now I've got like a cyst on one of my ovaries. That worries me. My son will be fine. They feel like it was fine, so. Yeah, see, somebody, finally, some knowledgeable person. So men can't have some personal responsibility and wear a condom? Come on. Exactly. He should have wore a condom prior to injecting himself inside or, like, penetrating me. It's fucking stupid. Why would you blame me for something I didn't ask for? People are so dumb. Some of these people you just need to ignore. And I say that to myself too, and I'm like, but it's hilarious. Why ignore that? It's so funny. These people are disclosing their mental fragility, and it's like for everyone to see. And it's so funny. Like this person, I can't stop reading your stupid comments. Why? I need to just get you off of here because you're just so dumb. This person, I don't get this. She doesn't have any proof for her benefit. It's all for JW. She just doesn't realize that. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? People are so crazy. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah Bell. Yeah, THC will be in the baby. What's the problem with that? There's plenty of women that had their babies and that they weren't taken away just because of marijuana. Believe me, there's something wrong with why you guys keep harping about stupid stuff and when it's in a recreational state. That's why I gave birth in a state where it was recreational. I didn't tell him not to wear a condom. Not at all. We engaged sexually prior to wearing any condoms, and then I told him, why would we wear a condom after that? We already had swapped fluids. That's why if he's the father, obviously we know we swapped fluids because, duh, we created life. They didn't break the window because I refused to get out of the car. I stopped filming when I opened the door. You guys are dumb. Let's see here. You're going to be by yourself for the rest of your life. No husband or kids to take care of you when you grow old. I don't care. What am I supposed to do? What's the problem? There's a lot of people that end up alone. And they're probably a lot better off for it. Because then they didn't have to have attachments to things that broke their heart. Or maybe they did. And then that's why they decided to be alone. It's a personal choice. It's none of anybody's business. I'm not really sure why people are so dumb. And people act like, oh my God, some of your followers were the ones that called the cops. The cops are the ones that called the cops. Are you serious? Of course, that's the people monitoring me. I'm not dumb. Apparently, I'm slightly clairvoyant or something. Which is actually kind of fucking scary. For me, too. That's not true, and HUD is to buy a house. Oh my God. I'm not going to argue stupidity. I wouldn't want her to be a dog sitter. I don't do any filthy things with animals anymore. And it wasn't animals in general. It was just my dog who licked my cooch. What's the problem? People's dogs lick their shit all the time, and they're like, I kind of like that. Let's get real here. Somebody's touching you. It's like, something, someone, whatever. But yeah, as long as you don't continue to do it, there's a difference. If you like it so much, you just continue to do it like a filthy animal. Some of us, we go through our trials and tribulations. You will never, ever win any lawsuit. Facts. Are you talking to yourself? Because I know damn well that I'm going to end up winning something. I already know damn well. There's no way that my story couldn't have gotten out there for a fucking reason, and that's exactly why. So that people could be held accountable for what they've done in order to destroy an innocent person's life for her whole life. And I've just been so patient, just so calm. And when I tried to tell people about the things I was doing right, they tried to say, oh, that's wrong. You can't do it that way. They'll tell you all the time. I didn't say that I couldn't use condoms. I said that I don't like using condoms because generally when I'm in a relationship, I don't use condoms. And I think that he probably was like, well, shit, like, we're not in a relationship. Well, then you shouldn't have fucked me, bitch. Who in the fuck told you that I'd be fucking out of relationships? Fucking thief. Can't accept our truths. You're not being truthful. That's not true at all. If it actually got to court, I would win a lot of money. But I don't actually file. I don't actually look for that shit because I'm not that type of a vindictive person. I've never been. So usually I sit outside the court and I'm thinking, well, you'll have to make do. You're just going to have to offer me what I demand. Because at some point you understand you're in the wrong, right? So it's not that I'm looking for more than I'm able to any more than I need, you know? And I've tried to explain that to everyone. Like, I'm not seeking above my means. I'm not seeking above to steal from others. Why would I want to steal anybody else's resources? Why did I want to get anybody in trouble? I didn't. Guys, she is homeless, but had $200 worth of weed. How did you know that it was $200 worth of weed? Are you just one of those trolls from the, like I said, government operatives trolling me to try to see what the fuck goes on and what I say back to that? Because how did you know that it was $200 worth? No one else disclosed that. Interesting. Let's see. How's that karma working? Very well, actually, because I get a lot of information from you individuals that actually talk back to me. And that's why the investigators don't like to speak to me face to face, because they leak out more than they want to. They share more just within their eye contact than they know that they do. So I wouldn't be dead in jail. They'd probably look up to me in there because of my vocabulary level. And probably because I'd run that shit but there's no reason that I should have to go to prison or anything. But if I do get there, I understand that it's because they want a greater story out of this, because we already discussed that years ago when they incarcerated me over there in Garland County. So I already know that there's something weird going on here. Not everyone's allowed to know everything that's going on in my particular story. The karma's working just fine. And I don't mind going through and living through my karma so that hopefully I'll have peace by the time I end up passing over. You took my weed, huh? It was you, huh? I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Why are you people so silly? Why do you keep fucking with me? We all know I love you. And we all know you love me. And it's silly. You're being silly. I try so hard. I'm in a good mood. And yeah, tomorrow I might say I fucking hate you, or later in the day because you did something else. Stop. How much do we have to just love each other from afar to realize, let's just cuddle. Let's just do some cuddling. Like, can I just be nice to you? You be nice to me, and that's how it goes. Can I have my belongings back now too, so I can look pretty for you when we cuddle? Jesus. Why is my life this way? I had to think about that concept too, mind you. And I already understood that that's what was going downtown. And I can't help my emotions and my hormones and the shit that comes out of my mouth. I was very angry. Like, you can't sit there and say that that wasn't appropriate, because it was completely appropriate for the circumstances. You know how hard that was. You know that I was just, ugh. And now I'm trying to chill the fuck out. You know, the baby's been detached from me now, and my energy is getting back to normal. But I'm worried about him. I'm very worried about him, and you know that. I'm very upset. That's very upsetting. Like, stab a person upsetting, and you know that. So, and you know damn well. So, but you can't get away with murder in the first degree like that when it's premeditated, you know? You have to make sure, and that's why I understand you had to do what you had to do so that you could engage with me, because I was refusing to engage with all of your officers face to face anymore because of the trauma that I'd sustained through them. So, due to them. So yeah, I love you very much. When is it going to be done? You just got to be willing to deal with what's out there. That's why I was still, you know damn well I wasn't researching any more attorneys or lawyers, but I did want to know some of the information about it. And that's when you open your mouth and you ask questions. And that's why I understood that you understood that I kept track of everything as best I could. And there were moments as well where I just didn't want to keep track because it was nonsense. And you knew it was nonsense. And you knew that they were force-feeding me nonsense. And I just complied with it. And I was just like, okay, whatever. We'll go with the flow. So why do you guys want me to stop smoking weed so badly? I mean, why is that the issue? Can I just smoke some weed until I get adjusted and then I'll be fine and won't need it anymore? I mean, what's wrong with you? Why do I have to be just like carefree outside of that as well? They were evil and did the wrong thing by taking her away. I would have stabilized myself a lot quicker years ago had I had her in my life. They went to an extreme. That was too much. And I understand too that it wasn't based on my actions entirely, because you're not holding them accountable for what they had done forcibly and how they misfiled it, causing all that issue for me. Priorities straight. Smoke at home. I am home. I'm in my car. This is my home. A lot of people live in their cars. What's the problem? I do hold myself accountable for losing my child, and I just don't care. If that's how they wanted to do it, if that's how malicious they are, then go for it. It's none of my business. I'm not going to sit there and fight for something that doesn't exist. That concept is beneath me. She could have her first child, but she chooses not to fill out paperwork. That's not true. It's not about filling out paperwork. It's about offering them $3,500, and then they'll file paperwork on my behalf in order to want to see my child for like an hour a week. I'm sorry I didn't have those finances. That's what I was trying to tell you. Maybe if I sued the state for the things that actually they should be held accountable for, then I would have had that money to place in their systems. But I told him, I said, I can't do much of anything. I can barely leave my home. I had such severe agoraphobia. And I knew that every time I reached out, it just got worse and worse. I'm actually not tired at all. I've only been sleeping for a few hours at a time. I think it's just me readjusting to motherhood and, my body changing. And people are like, you're no mother. No, my body sustained the trauma. I'm pretty sure I'm still a mother. Whether or not I'm a good mother at this point, I would still say yes, because I didn't fight. I could have stabbed the shit out of that bitch, but I didn't. Why argue with fools? There's no reason to. If you want to run off with my child and remove it from the breast, then you're going to realize that the psychological repercussions of his detachment is going to far outweigh whatever nonsense you feel he was going to be safer in the hands of strangers. Yeah. I would pray to the God that you believe in for that. So... You did everything in your power over the last 9 months to lose that baby. No. Rather the opposite. I actually went and sought help, and I thought I was going to get it, but then I realized, oh my God, since the father was who he was, there was no getting him back. Or there was no, progression in that whatsoever. So... I pray you get a DUI. Just because you have a car doesn't stop DUIs. I can't get a DUI because I don't drive under the influence of anything that's going to inebriate me. So, the weed doesn't detach me from being able to drive properly. I think that you're mistaken there, sir. What about the pills I took? Oh, the pills that you allowed me to have access to, because instead of watching over me at the facility, you shoved me out on the streets? Is that what you're saying? You mean the pills that you allowed me to have access to, and you knew because I just made the purchase at Walmart, you should have had your ping, you should have understood, maybe we should go talk to her before she goes to that hotel room, but instead you monitored me from all the CCTV cameras and saw me walking over to the motel room, heavily pregnant in the fucking heat? I would hold yourself accountable, sir, for not stepping in prior and realizing this girl's not doing well. She has no home. She has a hotel room for the evening, and all she wants to do is to try to relax, but instead everyone keeps continually harassing her psychologically as well as physically. So I know, people do need to stop gaslighting everyone. It's horrible. You can't tell somebody that you're going to do something and then you don't follow through. It's not respectable. You signed yourself out after court, which was the only reason you went in. Are you okay? I went in for a suicide attempt and was blacked out until I woke up of the day of the court date. And I was still in the ICU. They still have to monitor me. Are you all right? You're an idiot. I didn't sign myself out. I was in the ICU the day the fucking court happened. And they have proof of that. And they also have record of it through the fucking videos I made that day because it's got the exact room and everything filmed. Duh. Why do you think I placed this shit out there? Because I need to capture my reality as it is so that people can actually track and trace everything so that they understand, oh shit, I didn't do this to myself. I didn't put out a bench warrant for myself. I didn't, revoke the bond because there was nothing I could have revoked, or I couldn't have done anything that was inappropriate toward that bond. Because it still stands, that was public information. I didn't disclose anything that wasn't public information. The same thing with all of my records and the violation of HIPAA. No, I'm clearly disclosing this openly and honestly to the public, and that's why I wanted them to engage. Hey, guess what? There's some nefarious things going on in the system here in the United States, and here are some facts about that. Here's some proofs, here's some documentation, and I don't care if I disclose everyone's personal information because it's technically public knowledge. And also, too, the fact that I disclosed anything about my daughter, I haven't seen her in 6 years. I don't know if she's physically even existent. I don't know if she exists in this world. That's what you don't understand. When someone else detaches from something for so long, they don't even know it exists. The reason I know my baby still exists is because I'm bleeding still and my breasts are swollen. So I know that there's a baby out there. I know I saw him. I took pictures of him so I can remember him. Because if I wouldn't have, then I wouldn't have remembered that it happened. I would have made sure to block it out because that's how I do it with trauma, and I don't even know it. And then years later, people ask me, and I'm like, I don't know. That was traumatic. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah. Let's see. I think it's funny that you guys talk to each other on here. It's not easier to blame others. It has always been easier for me to blame myself before anyone else. And I always took full responsibility for everyone's actions. And that's where I went wrong. Because I had to realize, Leticia, it's okay. They did do wrong. And you have to accept that. And you have to accept that it wasn't entirely your fault. It was not entirely 100% your fault. And I always owned up to it as my fault for every interaction, for everything on their behalf. Because I blame myself from the beginning. That's why I didn't finish filing for rape. I blame myself. I thought, well, since I put myself in that situation, whatever comes of this, comes of this. And, hold yourself accountable. And that's why I never messaged him back. Because I knew better. Just leave it alone. Leave well enough alone. And then all of a sudden there was a baby. And I thought, this baby needs a home. This baby needs parents. This baby needs things that I can't support on my own, that I can't supply on my own. And I was scared for the baby. And then now, I'm just scared that he's going to be so sad throughout his whole life. But it's none of my business because they deem me crazy. they deem me to the point where I can't take care of that child because they say I can't take care of myself. I'm pretty sure I took care of myself. I mean, there's record, there's documented proof that throughout the years I lost 150 pounds naturally, and that I was in and out of places and people didn't even know I was homeless, and that I was nice and clean, and that I didn't hurt anybody, and I didn't steal from anybody, and I didn't harass anybody, and I was doing really good before the baby. I was stabilizing myself really well, and when people offered me safe places, I thought they were safe places. And a lot of times they were safe places. And even when I would talk to them, it was safe enough. And then sometimes the devil will snatch you up, and that's not good. That is so sad, though. So sad. Oh. Tootsie is about to be 10 years old in October. I don't know if she's still alive, though. I don't know if she exists. I haven't seen pictures of her in years. So that's why I just realized that's not for me. When people take things from me, I shouldn't argue and I shouldn't fight. I should just walk away because it's not worth my time or energy or efforts, because if they want to believe they're in the right, allow them to believe they're in the right. I'm not going to argue with anyone that's that foolish to think that they can own things like that. It's none of my business. So, yeah. I'm really glad I have you to talk to at the very least. At least there are a bunch of random comments, and that keeps me going. Talking to the void is a lot better than trying to speak to people face to face and interact organically anymore, because of the amount of trauma that I've sustained. So I'm just grateful that I have the best of both worlds, that I can go in and out of facilities, different places, and just be avoidant of everyone. And as long as I'm still able to engage, I felt like it was a win-win. I thought, I'm doing great. Like, look at me, I'm doing so good. And I never talked to anyone. They would have to always approach me first, and that's why letting go was just the simplest way to not go against the flow. Sometimes you have to go against the flow so that you can get over a few hurdles. But majority of the time, going with the flow, you can't really lose, because the people around you, they're going to do what they want anyway. You can't force anybody to alter their frame of mind. You can't force anyone to believe what you believe. And if you try to, it's going to allow them to rebel, or force them into rebelling even worse. So you should try to learn where you went wrong and take accountability and do better. Are you talking to yourself? Because I'm nearly positive that I've done plenty of that throughout my life. See, my daughter, somebody said, Tootsie doesn't know you exist. That's exactly how I perceive it too. Because the fact that I've not been around her, she's not been around me, we haven't been able to engage, that's why I disclosed her private information. Or so I believe. I don't know if she was real anymore. That's why I really snapped when I had to live in my vehicle. I did. And I tried to make light of it. I tried to make those videos like I was doing good. And I was trying to convey all of it, but also telling people, you're fucked. Like, you guys are so fucked. the fact that I actually sought help and then was forced to live in my vehicle, forced to engage with a bunch of men, because the only way that I could get any place to rest for a while was through men that wanted to offer me safe haven. And I tried to look in different shelters. Nobody wanted to allow, and even the shelters, I didn't want to go to the shelters because a majority of them are disgusting. A majority of the shelters are roach infested, disgusting holes in the wall, depending on different towns. So like over in the Hot Springs area, that's how it was. Nasty, run down fucking facilities, because they don't put money toward any of that. What they put money toward are their casinos and regulating through the authorities. So everything's very corrupt still, because, you know, that was a tourist town. And if you're going through there, you better watch out. You're going to probably get ticketed for no goddamn reason. So, because they have to make their profit off of something and someone. And I realized that afterward, that it was just a ploy, that we have to be stuck in the system somehow, some way, so that we can continually pay our dues. What dues? What the fuck are we doing wrong? You do worse than us. And like, we should be in your position going around giving you tickets for being stupid while you're on the job being stupid. Going around, going back to someone who just got their husband arrested, and you're going to force them into giving you head. Whoa. Whoa. And you got paid for that day. God damn. That's why I told people I didn't want to ruffle feathers. I didn't want to share with people. I ate them. I ate these stories. I ate these realities. I mean, I don't say these realities, these true tales. Just swallowed my pride and just thought, Leticia, you did it. Leticia, you did it. And then after a certain point, I realized, the fuck I did it? The fuck I did. No. That's why I guess the baby helped me realize that. The fuck you didn't do anything wrong. You should have fucking stabbed the bitch. And then you would have still probably gotten in trouble. People are always calling me crazy. God. But yeah. I'm pissed. I don't want to show up for September 7th. I don't want to do that. Make the father deal with it. For real. Make him deal with it. I don't want to deal with this. I really don't. This shit's fucking not funny anymore. Leave me alone. Just take him and go. Yes, I would rather party. I'd rather take shrooms than go back and get my kid. Fuck that. No, the shrooms will help me with my PTSD. What is going back to try to help get my kid back? No, cause more trauma, because these motherfuckers in their fucking judicial positions are going to be like, no, we can't offer you all the things you need. We give crack whores everything they need, but you can't get it personally because you're a terrorist. You're a threat to the state because you disclose too many truths about our fucking flawed systems. So you are a national, what is it called? Terrorist, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Vigilante, whatever you fucking call it. Whatever. You guys are crazy. I'm sorry that this happened this way. I'm sorry that I had to disclose how stupid you are. God. So yeah. What was I saying? Something about disclosing the truth about the government and how I'm being targeted for that, and how that's exactly the reasoning why I'm not getting any regular assistance. I thought, wait a second, and then people said, that's not right. That's not what they do with people. And I realized, holy shit, I was targeted years before I knew I was fucking targeted. Holy fucking shit. So yeah. And wait a second, wouldn't that be a violation of my constitutional freedoms? Oh shit. That would be a huge fucking lawsuit if I fucking sued the United States government. Holy fucking shit. That would be like a shit ton of money. Oh my God, to understand that our privacy has been violated and certain other aspects of it. Holy fucking shit. The fact that you are holding me accountable for the videos that I've made as my diary, holy shit. I could sue the fucking lot of you, and I would own each and every one of you, because I'd be that fucking rich. Whoa. And I try to tell people that. I would love to try that. I would love to reign for a little while, to see how things would go under my care, my watchful eye, to make sure I go and scrutinize everything and everyone down to the minute, the finest fucking detail, because we all know how Leticia is, and she'll find it. She'll find that little thing, that variation, and might have to fucking snuff that out to realize, holy shit, this is the reason why the systems keep getting flawed. This is the reason why there's more suffering than there should be, and it's outweighing any of the good. Wouldn't that be nice? If I could just own you for a little while, and so that you could eat your words and realize, oh my God, you're not looking at everyone individually. But then that's where the chips come in, right? The violations of individuals, because technically verbal consent is not what is the word? Legitimate consent? Because that verbal consent could have been forced. That verbal consent could have been adjusted due to circumstances, due to the amount of strain on the individual and stress. Forced confessions, you might say. Interesting. Interesting how Leticia's smarter than she should be, but dumber than she needs to be. You know? What? Leticia, you're silly. You better calm down. You better calm down, bitch. You better calm the fuck down. I mean, and I know that I cuss, and I do apologize, because I know that there's some very, very high-ranking individuals that listen to my commentary and listen to my story and understand and engage. I do apologize for being so vulgar during this time, but I have to place it on the hormones. I also have to place it on the fact that my instabilities due to my losses caused me to act out in such a way that it may have looked shameful or disgraceful to you in the U.S. government. But I was just displaying what I saw out in the world. I was just mimicking and copying those things that I found humorous about the circumstance. I was showing you exactly what you wanted to see. Showing you exactly, portraying things exactly how we see the world around us. Almost as if I were acting. Conveying a story that was completely falsified. Which we all know could never happen, right? Nobody could just fabricate an entire existence. That would be absurd. That would be completely, what would, just inconceivable, you know? So, I think that's really funny. I love you guys very much. I love that you're there for me, and you actually have helped me through this, and realizing where my strengths were, and that I didn't realize how strong I actually was. I had to learn on my own. Well, not necessarily on my own. You always had those helpful, watchful people, and that's why I told everyone how much I appreciated you, all of you. And I thanked you. You knew that you allowed me the grace to continue on after all those things. And like I said, I was just portraying what you I think you've got a lot of the words that I needed to say, and I know a lot of the things are repetitive, but I was going through a lot of stress. If only I could move forward. I'm not sure what the day holds. Hopefully nothing negative. Please, if you have my belongings and you understand that it would be nice to have those back at the very least, if you're going to contain me. Ugh. It's just so sad. I don't understand. And I understand I don't want to take more than what my allotment is, but I also want to attempt to help others. Anyway, I'm going to trim my nails. I'm going to do that tomorrow. So I hope everyone is having a lovely morning. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your comments. You know, this ballooned up really badly. It was like a knot under there where I punched, and it just immediately started, was swelled with blood. And now it's calmed down. You see there's a little bit of puffiness here. And I had actually had to flex it out like immediately after it happened. I can understand how people disengage from their reality and have to, you know, stop the pain in any way, shape, or form. I've never believed in hard drugs aside from, you know, the shrooms, the psilocybin. But I'm still unsure of certain things, and I think that I know I need to build more confidence in knowing that things happen for a reason, things happen for a purpose, and I can't argue anymore. I think I've had enough pain to where I've gotten accustomed to regulating it, regulating both the pain and the need to want more, you know, that urge to want more. So, do I harbor resentment? No. Could I get a little bit of time for some comforts and privileges? I would love that. I've gone through enough, you'd think. But, and then of course people are probably going to think, oh, if you strain her, if she goes out, you know, a few more days of nonsense, take more from her, you know, this demeanor will go away. But it always comes back around. I'm not going to force myself into getting aggressive over something that really has no sort of worth. It has no worth in the sense that it's not worth arguing over. So if you whatever you need to do, but can we be done with this soon? I'm not like begging either. I'm just sort of like stating, are you done yet? Are you done? It would be nice. But then you're gonna go around and offer me stupid shit, and I'm just like, I don't want to play anymore. I don't want to play your stupid bullshit. I'm not gonna play your fucking actress. No. I'm sleepy now, so I would hope that you would get your shit together sometime soon. I'm sick and tired of being scrutinized and ostracized for no reason, and I would like some luxuries for once. I'd love to be pampered. This is getting out of hand. The fact that my breasts are so engorged and that's like, it's a stinging sort of pain, it's extremely uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable. I am not gonna lie. Even trying to regulate my hormones after having lost the child, that's rough. I'm sure that prolonged removal of him is going to cause me to have postpartum depression. But will I get over it better than most? As long as I'm medicated. Are you gonna try to shove me in jail during my postpartum depression to try to force me into a state of delirium? Probably so. You guys are that malicious. And I don't put that, I don't even, I look at all possible variations of what could happen. So I know to expect the worst from you. I know. This has gotten out of hand, I thought. But then again, you haven't learned your lesson from the rest of the generations that you've messed with. So why should I be any different? Why should I be any different than anyone else that had any of this go on to them? And I just hope I hope you know what you're doing. I hope you realize what you're doing. And I'm not crying, I'm not pleading, I'm not arguing. It just is what it is. So I'm going to go to sleep now, though. I finally tired myself out because I realized, you can't alter other people's perceptions. And although people try to do their best, you can't argue with the truth. You just can't. And that power is something I've never actually sought. I didn't presume that I would want that type of, satisfaction to want to reign over anyone else. But it is a fun concept. It is fun. I would never want to be malicious, though. Not as vengeful and spiteful as you've been toward me. I would never want this type of thing, even for my worst enemy. They get their own karma individually, but we all know that, 7. So, I love you all very much, and I do hope and pray that you realize I'm trying really hard and to decipher what the fuck is going on around me, because I know there are some things that you've fabricated even in our history that I have to sit there and sort through. And it's been difficult trying to figure out which truths are worth pursuing. So far so good, though. So far so good. I still don't want to go to that fucking thing on September 7th. I really don't think I'm going to go. I think it's going to be to the point where it's like, fuck it, momentary, no thanks, not going to show up. And then they're going to be telling me some bullshit about some warrant for it. Go ahead and stick me in jail. That's not going to make it any better for the child. None of it. The fact that you did not house me and shelter us so that I could finish taking care of and tending to him, that's where you went wrong. My words are not the problem here. It's your actions. Ha! So true. So fucking true. So, and don't get me on this level. It's so fucking, it's just so monotonous. Revolving in the same fucking cesspool. No thank you. I'm drowning in your bullshit. So, alright, I love you very much. Today is September 4th, 2022. I hope everyone understands what they're doing and that they have a lovely rest of their weekend, which is today's Sunday. So I'll pray to God that things get better for each and every one of us. I'll say a prayer for you, each and every one of you, okay? We'll just say the Lord's Prayer together, okay? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who've trespassed against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine kingdom, thine power, and thy glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. Different variations throw me off. September 4th, 2022, Leticia Collins Servin. Bye-bye.